Intelligent design is interesting to me because they are working at a molecular level. It's taken creationism down to a level that I work at, for example, the level of molecules. And the idea that is being presented there is that certain molecules are so complex that they could not possibly have been produced by evolutionary processes. That's an idea. And as a scientist, I look at that idea and I say, well, this is sort of like a judgment call to me. They are judging that these molecules are too complex to have been produced by evolutionary processes, but the judgment is not subject to experimental test. And so as a scientist, I look at that idea, I look at this judgment call on their part that it's too complex, and I say, well, how am I going to test that? Now, there is an interesting molecule that I've worked with called the ATP synthase. And this is a molecule that makes energy available to virtually all organisms on the Earth, at least all cellular organisms. We use a little motor. It's like a little spinning, almost like a little machine. And it can take two molecules and link them together to make a high energy molecule called ATP. And this has been suggested to be an example of something that is too complex to understand. Now, the thing about that judgment call is that it ends the process of questioning. You've got your answer. It's too complex. We'll never understand it. And that's not very satisfying to a scientist. We can look at that ATP synthase, as some of my colleagues have, and say, well, if that ATP synthase was produced by an evolutionary process, we should see simpler versions of it. We should be able to look back in time and find, by prediction, find things that make sense with respect to what we know about it now. That has been done. We are now looking back in time using the methods of molecular biology. And what we discover is that there were precursor genes to other kinds of enzymes that have now evolved into the ATP synthase. So there's a direct refutation of the intelligent design claim that things are too complex to understand. The fact is, when we try, we can understand them.